My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Jakey Boy and I are going to break down the historic UFC Vegas 100. We're going to give you our picks, our bets, our DraftKings plays, and everything else you could want or need heading into a fight week. But before we look forward, let's take a few seconds and look backwards. Jakey Boy had a very good UFC Edmonton. He gave you, boy, that font is small. He gave you 3.5 units of net profit and a 41% ROI.
6 of 7 of my moneyline bets hit. The one that missed.
The only one that
was the lock of the week. And I heard all about that on the live stream. Everyone was in there. Wow, this guy doesn't know shit. Shit picks, doesn't know anything. Fade this guy. And I had literally hit like every single bet up to that point. But it is what it is. Great week.
That is just people. I had a good week as well. I gave you not as much in the net unit, but I gave you 14% return on your investment. For me, that is up 9 of the last 10 cards. That's really remarkable stuff. And Jakey Boy and I continue to be in the top the hell on the planet of picking these damn fights.
And Angelo.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I sat here last week and I tried to tell the people, hey, you know, if you're not premium yet, only $10 a month. Give us a chance, right? Let us try to prove what we're worth to you. And some of you probably did take advantage of that, and you're feeling good about it because we did well. The tools we present did well as well. Everybody as a community seemed to do well as a whole. So there were some of you that took advantage. And now there's some of you that were like, we're on the fence last week, right? You were on the fence, and that's fine. And you see results like this, and a little FOMO, I'm sure. Fear of missing out. Well, guess what? Price is still $10. You still get 4 events for that $10. Give us a try, and let's see what happens in the next month. You know what I mean? It's only $10.
UFC 309 is next weekend. And UFC Edmonton, it wasn't just the picks and the bets that did well. Jakey Boy got himself a little shout out. Let me play this for the crew. We're not positive it's Jacob. We are not positive, but it should be. Here we go.
It's Jacob. We pick him. We want you. Let's go. We pick him. Let's go.
Jacob would pick him. We want you with pick him, Jacob. Let's go. We'll take it. Everybody knew who the hell he was talking about.
He said, shout out the King of Morocco. And Jacob, when we pick him, we won't pick him. Pick him. We pick him. We won't pick him. I love Zalo. He's Zalo's a good dude. Obviously I've never met him in real life, but we exchange DMs pretty often and stuff. He came on the podcast, so I would consider him a friend for sure. So congrats to Youssef, and I'm actually friends with a few of those guys at Factory X, and they extended an invite for me to go visit the gym. So I think I'm gonna try to set something up after the holidays, January, February, and go up there and film a vlog, hang out, maybe do a little bit of training or whatever. So looking forward to that. And those are great people up there at that gym.
Yeah, you should definitely do a day in the life of a professional fighter and do everything they do. Jakey Boy getting run through the trenches.
Yeah, and they might. The bad thing would be is they're gonna probably see the talent, you know, and they're gonna want to.
You're just gonna
really wrap
there.
me up,
yeah.
and I could be their next champion.
That could be. They do.
I cut down. I mean, at one point I was fucking 125 pounds. I cut down. I could be 6 foot at 125 pounds, just smoking all these frauds.
Also, you know, probably not.
I guarantee, because Yusef's probably going to say the same thing that you said. One of the first things you said when we started the grappling portion was what?
I don't remember. I remember the striking. I was like, I can't believe he's not flinching. But I don't remember what I said with grappling.
I'm not a fucking bitch, Angelo.
99% of people just flinch just automatically if they've never kickboxed before.
I went like this. I fucking smeared my own blood all over myself. But the first thing you said when we had a little grappling exchange was, wow, you are pretty strong, or you're stronger than I thought you'd be. And I think you said would feel the same thing when I'm suplexing him.
Yeah. It's right there. Hey, go. I'll train you. And then we'll ship you off and see how it goes. But he did give you a shout out. That was awesome to hear. Pick'ems.
Shout out the King of Morocco and Jacob.
So that was great. That was our first. Guru got his big shout out with Moicano, and it blew his ass up. Blew him up. He got like 100,000 subscribers because of that. We didn't quite get that, but what we did do.
Well, the issue is because they gotta fucking put my guy on a main card. I can't believe some of the
crazy.
fights are on the fucking main card of that card, and we had fucking Jack Shore and Youssef Zalal on the fucking prelims. It's fucking sick.
Youssef, the base of the safety parlay that did hit 4 weeks in a row at plus money, 5 weeks in a row overall. We did have another milestone this weekend. We finally crossed the 4,000 active premium member mark. We're at like 4,076. That's crazy. We appreciate it.
You know what I said about that is, and I was talking about the stream. I was like, anybody can put together a couple weeks and get 100 people to sign up at $100, and it's easy to convince a little number of people to sign up for a large amount of money and just convince them that you know what you're talking about. For us to accumulate and sustain 4,000 members over the time that we have, that number always just keeps growing. So we maintain people, we add people. For that, you have to have proof of concept for that work. I don't care how cheap your product is. If you're not doing what people feel you're doing for the value that they're paying over the course, you're not going to get 4,000 people to sign up. And that's just the fact of the matter. So
100%. And we literally lose people every day just for natural attrition, like credit cards will bounce, things like that. So every day we lose a few, we gain some. The weekends it spikes. People, there's just normal, like I get messages, hey guys, love it. I gotta take a break from betting, whatever it is. But to your point, it is crazy. It's always going up. I think it's the value, and I mean that's what this comment says. It's freaking $10. It's a very not intimidating price point, and B, almost every single person that has ever signed up is like, holy shit! Like I hear you say it all the time. I didn't realize all this is in here.
Yeah, and elephant in the room, Angelo. If you guys did not know, you probably didn't know, unless you saw a picture on Instagram. I was dating somebody for the last few months. It got pretty serious, and Angel's laughing, but it actually is. I'm not joking about this.
I'm just laughing that this is coming up. Like, holy shit, dude.
This is serious. I was pretty serious with a girl, definitely in the last couple months, and last night, she broke up with me. Said that I had to commit to marriage. And I was not willing to commit the marriage at this point in the relationship, and she broke up with me. So sign up for premium today. It's only $10 a month because I got to get to Brazil now, baby. The salamander is single once again. You got to sign up and help me get to fucking Brazil. It is a true story. My heart is broken. So if I'm
a true story. I'm surprised
you low today. I definitely tonight. I just got high out of my fucking mind. I'm listening to Mac Miller right now, just vibing it out, and we're gonna live through this. It'll be fine, but it's what it is. That's life.
Did you? Does she watch this show? Is she like watching it right now? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
All right, well, big ups for Jakey boy. I'm shocked you said that.
I got it in the background.
Oh, that's what you were drawing. Okay, well. Here's the premium. The show goes on. I don't know how to transition from that. So here's the premium pitch. The DraftKings ownership is included in premium. We fucking smoked UFC Edmonton, beat every single one of our competitors.
I liked her too, man.
She was great. I liked her.
Angela met her.
Yeah, once, but yeah.
I was a big fan.
And you say she broke up with me. I mean, Jacob's not like he wasn't like dumped, like you lose or beat it. It was a conversation that
she wanted something, and
yeah,
I thought I wanted kind of that same thing, just without getting married. But you live and you
Jacob
learn.
Doesn't like the paperwork. And listen, I get it. My wife's in the other fucking room. If there wasn't paperwork, I could act and talk a whole different way. I get it, man. I thought they're the fucking worst, dude. I get it. The DraftKings ownership projections were spectacular. Those are included in premium membership. The DraftKings Optimizer is in membership. It is preloaded with the ownership projections. The Data Analyzer is also in premium membership. This is going to give you all sorts of data points, insight information, even a tape index. You click a button, you can watch a video right then and there. You're going to get the line movement tracker, opening odds, current odds, win probability, line movement for every fighter on every card. You're going to get the Prop Hunter, curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And you're going to get New Zealand's own Artem, giving you his picks, bets, breakdowns, not only for UFC, but PFL, LFA, those regional shows, and the artificial intelligence. Picking fights based solely off historical data, million freaking things, including the winning bets that we opened this whole show with. $10 for an entire month. I saw somebody in the live chat say, it's not $10 just for the first month. It's $10 forever. You want to pay for a whole year up front? It's $100. You want to pay for a lifetime? It's $300. One time, done. But it's $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, and the last little slide I have here, UFC 309 is next weekend. If you do want to send something for mail day, where are those 2 letters? I don't have them in front of me. If you want to send something for mail day, we'll open it. We'll read the letters. We'll eat the food. We'll do all the things. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406 in Prosper, Texas, 75078. Jakey boy, you ready?
I just miss her so much.
I don't know how to react.
I just wish I could hold her one more time.
Yeah, see, I genuinely don't know how to react here because these are true things coming out of your mouth, but I don't know if it's like exaggerated as a bit or if this is like your therapy right now. Like, I don't know how to act, so just tell me how to act. I don't know what to do. I'm not good with emotions. I'm a robot.
My favorite thing was just making her laugh. As I enjoy making everyone laugh, but for some reason, seeing her laugh was different.
Maybe we get through this stream and at the end you're like, yeah, what am I doing? It's just paperwork. Who gives a shit? Maybe that's what happens here.
Am I going to fall back in love?
Maybe. We'll see. Let's get through the show and see. We'll take a poll. That's a true I mean, Jacob brought it up. So that's a true statement. He was dating her for a while, liked her quite a bit. Everything seemed perfect. And then they started having a conversation. She was like, you want to get married someday, right? Marriage is very, very important to me. And he's like, yeah, I don't really believe in marriage. He didn't say, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in it.
I don't think it.
The paperwork is the issue.
No, I think it just puts added pressure to a good relationship. I just think it's like everything seems to always be going good. People get married, and then it's like, oh, what are we doing? It's like, why can't you just, every time I was with her, we had a good time and laughed. Why can't you just do that forever? Why? I don't understand. Logically, it doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think it's the paperwork that fucks it up. I think it's just spending that much freaking time with somebody that fucks it up.
When I'm around somebody that I like to be around, I like to stay around them, and then other things get involved. Life is too simple to be so complex, Angelo.
Shit's pretty fucking complicated. It's not simple at all.
It's my favorite quote in the world, and you know what's funny about this is we went to dinner Friday and I told her that this was my favorite quote as well, so I'm gonna share it to you now. 48, 56, 72 hours after she dumped me, or after that dinner that we had that was great. One of my favorite quotes is, and I think this is a Jacob original. Why is it so hard to be happy in a world where everyone is just trying to be happy?
You said that?
That's my quote.
It's a good quote. Yeah.
Doesn't it make sense? I mean, literally, that's all anybody wants in the world.
It is all anybody wants.
And it's so hard for everyone to be happy in a world where everyone's just trying to be happy.
I think it's because I think people want to be happy, but they don't know what actually makes them happy, so they just chase the wrong shit. That's what it is. What makes me happy is when everybody comes over and hangs out and watches the fights. That's what makes Big Papa happy.
What makes me happy was seeing her smile.
I literally don't know what's a bit and what isn't a bit, and I don't know if I should smile, hug him. I don't know what to fucking do, so I'm just going to move on. Shoot me a text on the side if you want my reactions to adjust accordingly. I literally have no idea what to do at all. Awkward Ange. Opening up. What did I just pin? Get on the show, you losers. Don't you guys? Oh, look at this shit. That's what I pinned? Okay.
Well,
guess who's gone,
I'll tell you
nerd?
what, the piggies. You know what, the piggies? He says, don't you have other things to do in your lives?
Not anymore.
Did. Yeah, I did.
Anymore.
As of last night, honestly, no, I don't. The piggies. So, quite frankly, I'd like this podcast to last as long as it can. Because after we turn these screens off, after the computer goes off, and I go sit on the couch and I've got nobody.
There you go. What's crazy is the live chat is subscriber only. So that dude subscribes. He's also watching us live. And it's like, get on with it, losers. It's like, you're here by choice. You can wait till it's over and fast forward. You're here by choice. You click the subscribe button. Absolute joke. Opening up the UFC Vegas 100 fight card, we have Tresean Gore taking on Antonio Trocoli. Tresean Gore, 4-2 in the entirety of his career, 3-2 in the last 5. He is coming off his first official UFC win, a little bit of a layoff. He's taking on Antonio Trocoli, 12-4 in his career, 3-1-1 in his last 5. He's coming off the short notice loss to Shara Magomedov, which was his first fight after a multiple year USADA layoff. And this is a weird fight to break down because we got a guy that just fought on short notice after not fighting for 3 years. We have another guy coming in here that hasn't fought in 2 years. One guy has a bunch of experience. The other guy has a couple of fights. We'll start with Tresean. The guy's heavy-handed. He's a come-forward wrestler. He is had a bit of a slump in his first couple of UFC fights, and that's because he was not wrestling. He was striking, but he's gun-shy. He's low volume on his feet. He was able to finally get an official win under his belt when he went back to his roots. He started wrestling, had some takedowns, and then had a submission over Josh Frem. He was supposed to fight Bo Nickel, if you remember, about a year and a half, 2 years ago. He pulled out. One of them pulled out. I forget who pulled out. And then they tried to rebook it a few months later, and he was like, no, I need to fight sooner than that. And he hasn't fought in 2 full years, so that backfired. He's taking on Antonio Trocoli. We're going to get it. We don't know if that's copyrighted. He's taking on Antonio Trocoli. This guy is very long. He's a come-forward striker, mostly a grappler, but he will come forward striking. Once that distance is closed, he will look to grapple. He doesn't really look like he's got a ton of power, but he's got a good amount of knockdowns and knockouts on his resume, and that's because that length, his ability to hit you while he's so far outside the pocket. His takedowns are mostly like trips and Uchimata, stuff against the cage. He is an aggressive grappler, though, and he will use that length to lock up chokes. He's coming off that ridiculously short notice fight, as I mentioned, the Shara Magomedov, where he had to fly to the other side of the world on a couple days' notice, cut a ton of weight. He just looked out of sorts, looked terrible. Boxing actually was okay, but no head movement, and then he gassed and got finished. Listen, the most shocking thing here is why the hell is Tresean Gore a 2-1 favorite? Why the hell is this guy a 2-1 favorite? What has he done to earn 2-1 favorite status? He hasn't been active. He has no quality wins at all. Josh Frem, okay. I don't know how he's a 2-1 favorite. And if he wants to wrestle, Antonio's a very good grappler. His girlfriend, phenomenal grappler. I think Antonio Trocoli wins, and I got a bet on him at plus 145. Oh, I'm sorry.
That was a weird emphasis on the fact that he has an active girlfriend, and I don't have an active girlfriend.
He's very successful in life. He has a girlfriend. She is attractive, and she is good at jiu-jitsu. The Michael Scott song? Jesus Christ. Who do you think wins this fight, Jacob?
Yeah, so first of all, congratulations to Antonio Trocoli for having what seems to be a beautiful relationship. I mean, he goes through, I thought that I did a lot for this girl. I tried to do everything I could to make sure every single day that she was happy, to make sure that she was laughing. But Trocoli takes it to the next level, right? He's trying to set up King Green to beat his ass for
that was
writing sheesh underneath Mackenzie's thing. He literally, like last month, went and beat the shit out of her ex-boyfriend or husband or whatever. So maybe I wasn't doing enough when I reflect back on what I thought was a great, happy, normal, fun relationship. So hats off to Antonio for being that guy that we all wish we could be. And I agree. Tresean Gore at a 2-1 was a little bit surprising to me. I call him Tresean kind of Mr. Stare and Do Nothing Gore, because although he came out aggressive versus Josh Frem with the grappling, the second that grappling stopped working, you saw he turned into the Tresean of old, and that is just kind of pressure you with a presence and not really throw much of anything. And you saw Trocoli came in and that short notice against Shara didn't land many shots. I think he only landed like 18 total shots or whatever, but at least he was in there and he was trying to stay active, and that short notice kind of got the best of him. And Antonio Trocoli, by the way, in this fight, he is going to be fucking huge. At the Apex, I saw him. Mackenzie took a picture with Mackenzie. Didn't say a word to him because he's a monster. I mean, I'm 6'2", and I'm like, holy shit, this guy is absolutely huge on a full camp with his jiu-jitsu that, as you mentioned, could get Gore in some trouble. So I got to go with Gore here because I think that he just is a better fighter. But, hasn't fought in 2 years. He said he's come back from a couple of big surgeries. We just saw Amir Albazi come in and look fucking stiff as shit for 5 fucking rounds. So I'm going Tresean as a pick, but definitely not bet him.
You spent the whole time complimenting Trocoli, shitting on Gore, and then be like, I'm picking Gore.
He should just be the better fighter. Trocoli's not very good.
I don't think Gore's very good. Do you think my bet is bad? Obviously, you picked the Gore side, but now he's even better odds. Plus 165. I bet straight money line on Trocoli. I mean, this should be a pick 'em. If you truly think like it should be a pick 'em, then.
I don't know, man. I just sometimes I think when I think about life.
Okay.
$1.99 from Clyde Baxter.
We'll get to it. Hold on. 8,600 in DraftKings Fantasy for Tresean Gore. 7,600 for Antonio Trocoli. Tresean Gore is very, very low volume, and he needs an absolute finish to come anywhere near that salary. And I don't know if he'll get a finish. Trocoli obviously got finished in his last fight, but short notice, flew to the other side of the planet. Like, there was a lot of circumstances there.
Balls probably drained his shit.
The support of a woman, the wind beneath his wings, help him fly the other side of the world.
Rock of Gibraltar. She was my rock, man. Every time she came in the room, my heart was like a phone book in a dryer. Just beating, just fucking out of my chest, man.
Well, Trocoli is my pick, therefore, in DraftKings Fantasy. He may be worth it. I'm going to look a little closer because, to Jacob's boy, Tresean just kind of very low volume, doesn't do much. Takedown defense is probably decent. This might be Trocoli just holding him against the cage. Could be a staring contest. This could be a terrible, god-awful fight. So $7,600, even if he wins, may not be worth it. But if you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, the artificial intelligence, the tools, literally every single thing we do, this one package is $10. There's not tiers. We don't spend $10. Everything we do, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. UFC 309 is next weekend. $1.99 from Clyde Baxter. Love you guys. Also, Jake looks like Lubdan. Look him up.
Okay. Yeah, I already did, and I got the picture right here. So I'm sitting here and I'm having a really rough day, right? Rough night last night. Couldn't really sleep. Was being honest, pouring my heart out to you guys, and then we get a donation, and thank you, Clyde, for the donation. And this is how you guys treat me in a day where I. I'm really struggling.
Dude, they're usually mean to me.
Angelo's laughing pretty hard.
Just that.
Funny,
that's how I process grief. I laugh.
Funny.
What's crazy is they're usually mean to me, and here you are being soft and sensitive, and now they're being mean to you.
A woman just broke my heart. Broke my heart.
And
now I look like a fucking leprechaun.
Not a bit.
I mean, I wish I had a leprechaun's luck, Angelo. You know what I mean? Because if I did, I would still be right now texting her, streaming. I'd be taking a selfie. But there's nobody to text anymore.
Oh, boy. It's going to be a stream, boys. It's going to strap in. It's going to be a stream. Get the tissues. Next up at UFC Vegas 100, we have Gaston Bolanos taking on Cortavious Romious. Gaston Bolanos 7-4 in his career. He is 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout loss to Marcus Magny, taking on Cortavious Romious, 9-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He is coming off a recent Contender Series win. And Cortavious is one of a handful of UFC debuts on this card that should get the job done. He's a solid grappler, decent striking. He's got good power. He's got heavy kicks. He does not throw well in combinations, really one punch at a time, but he does throw really hard, and he likes to move forward. His takedowns are solid. He'll do a good job shooting and then re-shooting if he doesn't get that first takedown. When he hits the ground, he's going to land some real strikes. He's going to look for an actual submission instead of just control and camping out. He's coming off that redemption win on the Contender Series, which earned himself this UFC slot, taking on Gaston Bolanos. This guy's a solid striker, solid Muay Thai background as well. He's got good power, a willingness to engage. His whole claim to fame pre-UFC in kickboxing, all of it is just he has a handful of spinning back elbow knockouts, and he has no problem sending it. He does have some grappling holes, and they can be exploited, but you have to get through that guard. You have to get through that Muay Thai before you can try to get him to the ground. He's coming off that KO loss to Marcus Magny, where unfortunately he fell behind in the striking, and it was clear he has absolutely no backup plan if he can't win the strikes. I'm a little bit torn here. Gaston is the more experienced of the two. If you include his kickboxing background, Romious is probably the more well-rounded, but he also can be chinny. Gaston hits hard as hell. We saw Romious just knocked out, unconscious, in the Apex, in this exact same cage, just a year ago. So the odds are new. I broke down this fight originally without any odds whatsoever. And I picked Romious in low confidence, and seeing that he's a 2-1 favorite, open as a 5-1 favorite, crazy. Gaston's a very good striker, a nasty striker. Romious is the pick. There's no value here whatsoever. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Just pin it, please. Let's get it over with.
Is there another super chat? No. What am I pinning? Oh, that didn't take long. Dude, it took these guys 3 minutes. Jacob's ex-girlfriend said, I had to block you, my love, but I will always be watching from the shadows. I'm sorry, we are just not compatible. And the picture seems to be, what's her name in that fight where her head looked like an alien? Dude, it took them no time at all. I don't mean to enjoy myself at your expense. I apologize.
It seems like you're
for
having
that.
fun, and at least I can make somebody laugh tonight.
Yeah,
because
see? And you could text me.
I can't text you what I used to text her. Although I'm sure you enjoy sending the pictures that she used to send. Listen,
I'm laughing this hard because it's not a bit. If it was a bit, I would like, oh, Angelo has AIDS. I don't laugh at that anymore. It's funny because it's rooted in truth.
It's real. Angelo is literally laughing at my pain.
All right. Who do you think wins this fight?
Okay. Well, I actually, in breaking down this fight, I was a little probably put off from Cortavious, because he does have that knockout. He definitely was getting a little bit too aggressive in the striking in that fight versus Ramos. It's Ramos, right? I don't have notes in front of me, and I'm high as shit. So, as Ramos, but you saw in his last fight, he kind of dialed that back. And when I watched Gaston, this Peruvian striker that's supposed to be, I think I was kind of high on Gaston in that fight versus Marcus Magny. Obviously not to win, but I thought you could give him issues. These Peruvian strikers are all fucking frauds. And when you watch this guy strike, the way that he hangs in the pocket, and I know how good Marcus Magny is, and Cortavious Romious is not going to have the same striking as Marcus Magny, but this guy in an orthodox stance was throwing blind right hands and just staying in the pocket and just be like, da, 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 and just getting fucking lit up. Every time he would throw right hand, he would just freeze in the pocket, and every time that Marcus Magny got in this guy's face, he would just freeze and shell up, and then when he started getting hit, he just kept his hands down, was smiling, walking away, like he was embarrassed to even be there because he knew he was getting the fucking shit beat out of him. I think his striking is absolutely terrible. I think he's going to be there to get hit by a guy like Romious, who I know is more of a jiu-jitsu guy in his finishes, but he's got real power in his hands. And he went up against a really good boxer in Ramos and got outboxed, right? I mean, Ramos was in there slipping, they countered, he tried to go for it, ended up getting knocked out. Gaston does not have that type of boxing, be able to stay in the pocket. Honestly, I think Cortavious is going to be live for a KO here if he wants to blitz him. But if it goes to the ground, you've seen that he can do some stuff as well. A lot of that stuff is more off his back armbar type stuff, and I don't expect Gaston to be shooting takedowns, obviously, but it's there if he needs it. I just think he's going to be the maybe not even the better striker because he's raw in his striking, but I just think he's going to be the more powerful striker and he's going to be able to find the shot.
Yeah, and he's more well-rounded. I mean, Gaston, if he can't win the striking exchanges, that's it. Like we saw in the last, there's just not a backup plan. He doesn't go to anything else. He's just like, okay, well, I'm going to keep trying this even though it's not working. So we're both on the Romious side. Jacob's a little more confident than I am.
Yeah, you mentioned he can go to something else if something's not working. I wish there was, I wish that in relationships that if something, isn't really working out for two people, you can kind of talk about it and decide on a solution together instead of just making kind of your own decision that affects both people.
I think you're doing that now, talking it out with the community. They seem pretty supportive. So I think you're talking it out.
It's funny.
I don't know how anybody could think this is funny. I mean, if we rewind just a few months ago to the very first time you wore that Young LA shirt, you came on here saying, I had sex wearing a Young LA shirt. And now
I may never have sex again.
I can't believe you had it the first time. So I mean, we just need to be happy for what you. Oh Jesus Christ! It's gonna be a show. It's gonna... Get it together. Get it together. Unique New York. Unique New York. Get it together. Here we go. We both picked Romious, become a premium member. I don't know if the value's there in DraftKings Fantasy, but certainly if he could finish a Bolanos, it will be worth it. But Romious is the pick. Unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, the round line leads, and more. WeWantPicks.com. Click. Become a member at the top. This was a funny joke at my expense. Nope. This one. Angelo broke up with vegetables. I fucking just had green beans, okay?
Someone said, we're all so proud of you, Jacob. Thank you. Once you get that taste, you just keep wanting it. And, I don't know what happens next, but there was that sex store that opened up down the street, so.
But they don't give sex, though. You don't buy sex there.
You can buy Fleshlight for $24.99.
Well, is that how much they are?
I don't know. If they are, then that's incredible. It feels like they'd be a lot more.
It seems like an $80 thing. Ugh, cleaning that. Next up.
Supposed to clean. Whoa.
It's not just, it doesn't evaporate. Next up. At UFC Vegas 100, we got Melissa Mullins taking on Klaudia Sygula. Melissa Mullins, 6-1 in her career. 4-1 in her last five. She's
Muggins?
I said Mullins.
Did you call her a mudblood?
Oh, what's a mudblood?
Nothing. What's up with you?
6-1 in her career.
Those are the people in Harry Potter that are half human, half wizards.
Oh, well, there's definitely two halves.
Now I don't have a girlfriend.
There's definitely two halves. Melissa Mullins, 6-1 in her career, 4-1 in her last five. She's coming off that TKO loss to Nora Cornole. She's taking on Klaudia Sygula, 6-1 in her career, 5-0 in her last five. She is making her UFC debut. Melissa Mullins, powerful striker. She's an accurate striker as well. She's got the composure of somebody who's been around a lot longer than 7 professional MMA fights. Her offensive striking is clean. It can be impressive, but her head movement and striking defense kind of lacks. She does get hit a good amount. She'll work in the clinch or at range, and she can grapple as well. Technically speaking, she is literally a BJJ world champion. What that world tournament was and the credentials, I don't know. But they've said it on the broadcast before, so that went into the notes. BJJ world champion Melissa Mullins. I haven't seen the skills to be like, oh, that looks like a BJJ world champion, but it is what it is. Her takedowns are not the best. Most of the times they're not even needed because her striking is so good, but she does work them in, and she can control on top. She is coming off that finish loss to Nora Cornole. She's taking on Klaudia Sygula. I think it's Sygula. Anyway, powerful striker on her side as well.
Beautiful.
She is pretty.
God, she's beautiful. She just... I look at her and I can see marrying her.
All of a sudden, paperwork's not so crazy. Klaudia Sygula is a powerful striker who is not afraid to engage. She prefers to dance around. Then she'll find the clinch. She'll throw uppercuts. She'll throw knees. She's got heavy hands, good volume. She can grapple as well, but the wrestling is not very good. Her get-up game is also not very good, so she'll just hang out looking for submissions that may or may not be there. So I got to go Melissa Mullins here. Minus 235 seems like a stretch for somebody who was just finished in the UFC. But she's going to be the better grappler. She's got a ton of power striking. If she can't get the takedowns and she ends up in the clinch and she's just being held against the cage, then Klaudia can steal some minutes. I know. Klaudia with a K is throwing everything up. Melissa's going to be the pick. I think she's going to be too strong, too physical. She hits just as hard. And she will have the wrestling as a backup plan. So Melissa Mullins is the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Guys, I know that you probably have
what?
I'm trying to think of the word. You have your trepidations about Melissa Mullins. Would that make sense? You have trepidations. You have cause for concern about picking a girl like trepidations.
Cause for concern makes sense.
But they know what like trepidations is. Can you look that up?
Trepidations, a feeling or fear of agitation and something that may happen. So
so I know you guys might have your trepidations of a girl like Melissa Mullins, and I get it, right? Because she's not the best striker in the world. She wants to get to the grabbing, but as Angel mentioned, she doesn't have the best takedowns in the world, and I understand all that. But in this fight, I think Melissa Mullins might look like a fucking minus 500 favorite if she gets this fight to the ground, which I think she can just with pressure. If you watch that Nora fight, she was on her way to kind of mauling a girl like Nora. I mean, she was just her pace, her pressure. She's a tough fucking girl. You can tell by her Instagram that she's been training her fucking ass off like it's a fucking title fight. She was originally supposed to fight Rendon. That fight dropped, so the UFC had to find a replacement. And how this girl Klaudia got the phone call, I don't fucking know. This girl's I mean, she is not a UFC.
I mean, I know how she got the phone call.
She is not a fucking UFC fighter. Her last two fights were modified MMA rules with no clinching, no takedowns, and for some reason, both of those fighters quit after the second round. There wasn't damage done because she can't strike. There wasn't anything going on. They were just like, one was a corner stoppage, one was like a rule that TK would just magically quit after the second round after like some back and forth pillow fighting because this girl looks like she's never had a real striking lesson in her life. So I understand that you guys think Melissa Mullins isn't on that level. Well, guess what? This girl is not on the... Melissa Mullins is an okay UFC fighter. I would be very, very surprised if Klaudia doesn't get taken down and TKO'd or submitted in the first round of this fight. That's how fucking confident I am in Melissa Mullins.
I don't know if there's going to be a finish.
She'll easily submit her if she gets her to the ground.
I mean, that is certainly a possibility. Melissa Mullins, the ground game is far better on that side. Klaudia's got decent jiu-jitsu, but it is off her back. She'll just hang out on her back, throwing random stuff up. We are both on the Mullins side. Jacob a little farther on that side of the spectrum than I am. $8,800 in DraftKings Fantasy. Come on, focus. If it doesn't focus, I'll tell you what it says. There you go. I love grappling. And it's Melissa Mullins training her ass off, grappling. Very clear path to victory for her. Therefore, we think she wins. $8,800 in DraftKings Fantasy may be worth it. If she turns into a Nurmagomedov, potentially finds a finish, then that $8,800 is absolutely going to be worth that money. If you do want to check out the picks, the bets, the round line leans, everything else, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. Freaking $10 for an entire month, week in and week out. Not only giving you winning bets, but the tools, the optimizer, the ownership projections, the ability to do tape study through the website, everything. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. A couple of super chats. €2 from Liam Goodwin. W. Trocoli, Mullins, Ritter, Johns, and Dalby. Opinions? Well, we'll get to these fights. I picked Trocoli. Jacob didn't. We both picked Mullins. We'll get to Ritter. We might be split. Jacob and I might be split on the rest of those. So you're not going to get a clear answer out of us. I am good with all these. We'll talk about Dalby later. $1.99 from Clyde again. Dusko is lock of the week. Mansur is a can. Also, R.I.P. Guru. I guess he hasn't uploaded in a few days, so people are going crazy.
Yeah, and Dusko's not lock of the week. And somebody said, what if Melissa doesn't get the takedowns? I don't think it's going to fucking matter. I mean, she hits
hard as hell.
She was bullying Nora. Nora literally was like running away. She was so tired in the second round of that fight, and then found that weird knee. She can just bully. I mean, I think she can just bully this girl. This girl doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, MMA Ricky, said, look up Klaudia's Tapology. She fought a 12-year-old girl named Zoya. Well, we'll see what happens. Next up, at UFC Vegas 100, we got Cody Stamann taking on Damon Blackshear. Cody Stamann, 21-7 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He is on a 2-fight skid, taking on Damon Blackshear, 2-3 in his last 5. He is 14-7 in his career. He's also riding a 2-fight skid. Cody Stamann overall is a pretty well-rounded guy. He has been doing boxing since he was just a small child. He has been wrestling since he was a kid. He wrestled in middle school, high school, and even in college. He ties it all together pretty well. Good technical striker, sets a good pace. He doesn't really have that raw one-punch knockout power, but he's got some good volume, good cardio. He averages a couple of takedowns per fight, has a 76% takedown defense, and he is coming off that decision loss to Taylor Lapilus, where he had a takedown, but he did end up missing 5 others. He's taking on Damon Blackshear. He's an athletic striker. He's impressive with his speed and his power. He can grapple as well. He has takedowns in every single one of his UFC fights except his last one, where he got knocked out almost immediately. He's got solid volume in those strikes, good technical boxing, and clean takedowns. He does have 4 losses in the UFC, but every single one of them are pretty quality. He is the better fighter. I think Damon wins this fight. He should have the much better striking. He does a good job mixing in the wrestling. He should win here. However, he is 2-4 in the UFC. He doesn't really have a whole bunch of super high-level wins to suggest he should be a 3-1 favorite. Cody is likely going to get outstruck, then start shooting sloppy takedowns. Damon will work from there. It's going to be tricky. Cody's a gamer. He can fight anywhere. The pick's going to be Damon. Betting wise, this will be an interesting fight for sure. What do you think, Jake? Yeah, boy.
I think that was the perfect breakdown. Kind of exactly how I feel. I think Damon should be the better fighter here, but we've seen him lose close decision before. We've seen Cody kind of hang around in fights before, and honestly, you have no idea how Damon's going to react with your first knockout loss. I mean, we saw Mike Malott was smoking everybody. He had a weird loss to Neil Magny. He came in and looked like a completely different person. I mean, he looked fucking terrible. I mean, sometimes people can get in their own head and try to fix everything when maybe there wasn't even a mistake. Maybe Damon there was a mistake in the fight, but now all of a sudden he's going to completely change how he fights because he's worried about getting knocked out again. I just need to see it from Damon again before I bet him. As a pick, he should be the better fighter, but it's you never know until you know when you see come back. So
I hear you. I hear you. Damon's good, but yeah, he was knocked out recently.
I just wish she heard me. Every time I was saying nice things or doing nice things for her and to her, and physically the things that I was able to do. It would blow your mind, Angelo. Some of the stuff some of the positions, and apparently that was all taken for granted.
Maybe you weren't flexible enough. Work on your splits.
I'm more flexible enough, Angelo. You know that better than anybody.
Nope. $7,300 in DraftKings Fantasy for Cody Stamann. $8,900 in DraftKings Fantasy for Damon Blackshear. Damon's going to need a finish to really be worth that. If it's sort of a point fighting match with a takedown or two, We'll see what happens. But Damon, as we have pointed out several times, was just knocked out. So maybe he turns into a wrestler. And if he wrestles heavy, he may be able to hang out on top, rack up some control time, get a couple of takedowns. Cody wrestled in college, so there could be a few scrambles there. I'm probably not going to spend the 8,900, but we are squarely on the Damon side. If you do want to unlock what the optimizer says, who they think should be in your DraftKings lineup. If you want to check out all the bets we've got going on, Jacob and I have a bunch of bets already. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 for an entire month.
I wouldn't bet on. What do you think the odds of? What would you put the odds of me falling in love by the end of the year? And keep in mind that I will be in Tampa, Florida, and Amanda Hebas will also just happen to be in Tampa, Florida as well. So what would you put the odds of, knowing that information, of me falling in love by the end of the year?
Reciprocated love or just you being in love?
Do one for both.
You falling in love, I'll give you till Wednesday. Someone's going to walk by in some yoga pants. It's going to change your life. Reciprocated, I have a better shot of beating AIDS. Sorry about that. But I am beating the AIDS, though. That's the upside. Magic Johnson beat it. These better be on YouTube because if this video gets blocked because you're playing all this shit, dude, we're going to have problems. We're going to have problems. Is that on YouTube? I hope. I hope.
Put it in the hands of the Lord.
We'll find out.
We'll be right back.
Next up, why did you say we'll be right back and so did he? What is that from? Should I know? Are you going to tell me? Should I just break this down?
I will. No. It's a show that I introduced to her, and she really enjoyed it. And one of our earlier dates a couple months ago, we sat and we watched an episode together, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great night. Sitting, I think we even ordered pizza, maybe even got some ice cream, and really had a great night. And
What's the show?
The show's Kill Tony.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
Dr. Phil when he's on the Kill Tony, and maybe he does on his own thing as well. But it's Adam Ray as Dr. Phil, and he says, we'll be right back.
The funniest part about the Kill
But she's
Tony,
not coming back.
The funniest thing about the Kill Tony rise here is we had a Kill Tony regular in our community, diehard fan. It's been, 3 years ago? 2 years ago? Michael Laher. And what the hell are we laughing at?
Michael Lair.
Michael Laher. Anyway, he went on Kill Tony with a We Want Picks headband, shouted out We Want Picks, and this is long before Kill Tony is what it is now. So, that was our guru moment.
That's literally, it's actually kind of funny. Here you go. Let's link this together. I would have never watched Kill Tony. I didn't even know what it was when he would watch our stuff because you were like, he was on this show Kill Tony, and I was like, I don't fucking know.
I didn't know what it was either.
Watch it.
Yeah.
So then I started looking after. It was actually after he died. Rest in peace, Michael. That I was like, well, let me see what this Kill Tony stuff is, and I started watching Kill Tony, and then one of the better nights of my life was on the couch with her watching Kill Tony.
That is full circle. Michael will be proud of you. Next up, at UFC Vegas 100, we have Matt the Semelsberger taking on Charlie Radtke. Matt Semelsberger, 10-3 in his career. 1-4, though, in his last 5. He is on a 3-fight skid, taking on Charlie, former Lock of the Week Radtke. 9-4 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off his first UFC loss. Charlie Radtke is an athletic grappler. He lowers his level, he takes good shots, he immediately starts working for positions. But you may not know that if you have only seen his UFC fights, because in the UFC, he's a powerful striker. He's always down to throw. But pre-UFC, he's a grappler. He gets to the ground, he's controlled and dangerous. He hunts for submissions. He looks for transitions. He works well between the two. He does chase every now and then, pulling guillotines and missing out on those positions, but he is dangerous. He's got good hands. He will come forward. He is not afraid of an actual fist fight. He does tend to slow down if the fights go on. He can be hittable, but he's usually pretty tough. He throws with power, and he will be there in your face. He's coming off that KO loss to Carlos Prates. Taking on Matt Semelsberger. Matt Semelsberger is an aggressive striker. He's going to march forward. Good leg kicks, good body work, plenty of power, both hands. He's got 10 knockdowns in 10 UFC fights. The marching forward can break a lot of people because they're just not ready for the constant pressure. But it does also set him up to be taken down. It leaves him open. He has a 45% takedown defense. He's given up 19 takedowns, 7 of which were in his last fight to Preston Parsons. And Matt Semelsberger is always tough, but he's not very good. And I don't think he's going to be very different here. I think he's going to be very tough. I don't think he's going to be the better actual fighter. I think Charlie lands the better shots, gets a couple of takedowns if he needs them, and I think he can win this fight. Matt's toughness will keep him in it. Matt has certainly, without question, fought the much higher level of opponent. But I think Charlie, if he uses the grappling and mixes all that in, can win this fight. So Charlie is going to be the pick, and I think the odds are probably where they should be. They widened a tiny bit. They were 47 the other day, but I think this is where it should be. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I assume that record's not right for Matt Semelsberger.
Y'all, actually, real quick before you do that, you know what's so funny? In my quick picks video, on this slide right here, I did a rant. Some guy showed up to my quick pick. So my quick pick video, they get dropped on Sunday mornings, and they usually get a good amount of
And a good-looking thumbnail on that.
That is a great thumbnail. Thank you, Jacob. The new thumbnail is all Jacob this morning.
Anything to keep my mind off of what's happening in my personal life.
I have yard work, if that'll help. Bring you back to your youth. The quick picks video usually gets a lot of positive, love these videos, thanks so much, I love the early, coffee with it, shit like that. And it's great, I love it. And it bothers some people. Our success bothers people. That's just life. And somebody last week commented, what are you talking about? He's the hardest working man. All he does is click the camera on and just start blabbing.
So true.
And that clicked in my head on this slide where I told that story. And I was like, you know how much effort? I'm like, look at this slide. These are custom graphics. Where do you think these numbers come from? I have to watch the tape. I got to build it. And I ranted about how nice these graphics are. I had no idea that 10-3 was wrong until somebody commented, the most Angelo thing in the world is bragging about his custom graphics while having the wrong record for Matt Semelsberger on the screen. And I was like, that is a very Angelo thing to do.
It's got to be embarrassing. It's just like when I was texting my parents about this girl and how much I liked her. And, just for literally 2 weeks later for her to break my heart,
That is embarrassing because they're going to ask now. You have to explain.
Oh, did you guys have a good Christmas?
Yikes. Why don't you get your mind off that and let us know who you think wins this fight?
Listen, Chuck Buffalo was my lock of the week against fucking Carlos Prates, which
hindsight's 2020.
At this point, to see him on the same card, to see Prates at a fucking minus 700, minus 800, is pretty wild. But the reason why he was my lock of the week is because I picked my lock of the week because I know most of my lock of the weeks are, if anything, they're dogs. They usually bring forward pressure, and they're usually pretty well rounded. And that's kind of what sums up Charlie Radtke. I mean, he is a well-rounded guy. He's a dog. He will come forward. And against Prates, who didn't look great against Tresean until he found that knockout, I thought he was going to be able to do enough. He was actually having okay success in there. And then Prates pointed at his liver and said, I'm about to fuck you up your liver. And then fucking kneed him right in the liver. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Literally points like, here it comes. And then fucking kneed him. And, body shots are one of those things you really can't out-tough. So it is what it is. But, Matt Semelsberger to me is a type of fighter that is well-rounded, pretty good everywhere. But I mentioned last week that Trevin Giles was a guy that seemed to just always find ways to lose fights. Right? And when you watch that fight against Mike Malott, he kind of found a way to just lose that fight because Mike Malott wasn't really doing anything, but Trevin just didn't do anything else. He could have just done a little bit more and probably could have won that fight. And then, lo and behold, Trevin just found a way to lose the fight. And that's how Matt Semelsberger's career has kind of been up to this point. He's good. He'll be winning. It just seems like either luck or abilities or whatever, he just finds ways to lose fights. So even if he has early success, I think Charlie's going to be able to kind of work through that as people have shown against Matt Semelsberger. And Matt Semelsberger has shown that as fight goes on, he kind of starts fading and fading and fading. And I think Charlie is going to be growing as Matt Semelsberger is going to be fading, and he could take over in the second and third round. So I'm all over Chuck Buffalo here. And here's my lock of the week for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, he should get it done. It's nice to see him in this spot here because this is a fight that'll give him a little bit of a test. We'll find out how good he is. Matt Semelsberger's, he can do all the things. He's not great at anything, but he can do all the things, and he's very, very tough. So this will be a fun fight. I'm looking forward to it. Charlie's not afraid of a fight. Matt's not afraid of a fight. It should be a good time. $8,500 in DraftKings Fantasy. That's another tricky one because Matt's not the type of guy you're just going to get out of there. He's very, very tough. I also was shocked that he's only 31. He's the younger fighter here. That was surprising.
You know, the craziest thing in the world is Kevin Lee's only 32.
Really? That is crazy. So I guess Keith Lee is his older brother then?
I don't know, but
you don't know.
He's had a long career already, and then now he's like trying to already come back at like 32 or 33, whatever he is now. So
there's a bunch of fighters that I just assume. Cody Garbrandt's another one. We'll get to him. You just assume he's 38. He's not. We're both on the Charlie Radtke side, $8,500 in DraftKings Fantasy. I'll have to look at that a little closer, see what he scored when he beat Blood Diamond. This could look somewhat similar with a little bit more activity. But if you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, the round line leans, the artificial intelligence, every single thing that we do, both on the betting side and the daily fantasy side, you can do so now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month. That month will include UFC 309, which is next weekend. There's another burner account, Jacob's STD scare, and then a couple of blisters on a lip. These people are wildly quick. Remember it was Mama Tiff? It's crazy how fast they come up with this shit. Crazy. The guy who made Mama Tiff, he made a few others. I forget what one was, but it was another like funny trolling one. And I guess he was telling me, he called into one of the live shows once, it's Gucci Gill, that YouTube wouldn't let him log out of that account for whatever reason. So now all his, like everything he does on YouTube is under that stupid burner name. And that's called karma.
Karma, you know, and I always say, you know, it's not my phrase, but it's one of my favorite phrases is karma is not a bitch. She's a mirror. And I hope that, hope she understands that, you know, you kind of give you get the energy that you give, you know, and sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And, you know, sometimes you don't know what you got until it's gone. Show me the meaning.
That was your Backstreet Boys song? No.
Lonely.
Bum, bum, bum. Doesn't it do that?
So soon because wild and free, like a crimson love, your every wish will be done, they tell me.
Next up that was actually pretty good. Next up at UFC Vegas 100, we have Mansur Abdul-Malik taking on Dusko Todorovic. Mansur Abdul-Malik, 6-0, undefeated in his career, making his UFC debut. Dusko Todorovic, 12-4 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off an injury loss about a year ago. Mansur Abdul-Malik is another UFC newcomer on this card. For a late in the year card, it's loaded with UFC newcomers for some reason. He's a very good grappler. He has college wrestling experience. He wrestled at a D1 level, and he fights exactly how you would expect a D1 wrestler to fight. He comes forward, he throws heavy, and then he shoots takedowns. His takedowns are big, they're clean. He does a good job lifting his opponents clean off the ground and then slamming you back down. And when it gets to the ground, he's got great control. He also has good elbows and will work on top, taking on Dusko Todorovic. Technical striker, good power. Also has takedowns and offensive BJJ to round him out. He lands almost 6 significant strikes per minute, but there's definitely questions about his chin. He's coming off that freak knee injury loss to Christian Leroy Duncan about a year ago. I love Mansur in this spot. I've got a little parlay with him as well. I love the high-level wrestling experience. I'm always going to favor wrestlers. I love the explosiveness. I love the fact that after he gets a takedown, he's not just camping out waiting like Alexander Romanov. He's laying down elbows and punch. He's trying to finish. He's a good size favorite here, but I'm as confident as you can possibly be in a UFC debut here. So Mansur's the pick. I think he gets it done. I think he's worth the money. I think all the things. What do you think, Jakey boy?
It's important me to hold on to this, you know. And it's something I got to do, but that don't mean I want to. You know, what I'm trying to say is that I love you. I just feel like this is, come to an end. And it's better for me to let it go now than hold on and hurt you. But I gotta let it burn. It's gonna burn for me to say this. It's coming from my heart. It's been a long time coming. When your dad fell apart, but he won't work this out. But I don't think I'm gonna change. I do what you do, but this we go our separate ways. And tell me why I should stay in this relationship. When I'm hurting, baby, I ain't happy, baby. So many other things I gotta do.
How long do I let this go?
I think you should let it burn. Listen, Mansur is a guy that is going to come in with definitely a wrestling background, wrestling game plan, I would assume, with Dusko, because we've seen him being taken down. The Beverly Hills Ninja was taking him down, kind of controlling him, and nearly almost got him out there with a couple of ground and pound situations. Dusko coming off the knee injury, should be the better striker, right? I think Mansur is definitely a hard hitter. I mean, there's no fucking doubt about that, but it's going to be a little bit lackluster in the technical aspects. I imagine that the game plan is going to be go back to the wrestling, get some of those ground and pound TKOs, but Dusko showed on the ground he can be a little bit tricky, right? Rolling through with the knee bars, with the guillotine, threading that type of stuff. He is going to be live on the ground, and if you get a green wrestler, these newcomer guys that are used to just kind of holding people down and haven't really fought people at this level. Now, I know he's probably trained with some good people. He should know what he's doing. But I think Dusko could be a little bit weirdly live on the ground. But I do have to go Mansur here. I think the path to victory is there. I think he's going to have the power advantage, the wrestling control advantage as well if he needs to use that. So I'm going Mansur, but I don't think I'm as high as you.
I love it. I mean, I just D1 wrestler, so I guess I go a little all in on that. But I do like that he works. Like if he just camped out and gave his opponents opportunities to come back, that would be a little more concerning. But he works, and he'll be looking for a finish. Dusko's a guy that he could probably make something happen. So I love him. I am going to spend the $9,300 in DraftKings Fantasy. I do think he's worth it. I think he'll get the takedowns. I think he'll get the finish. He's the pick. And if you want to check out the parlay that I have with him and all the other picks and bets, you can do so now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 for an entire month. You can unlock every single thing that we have and offer, and that'll include UFC 309, the John Jones card. Next up, at UFC Vegas 100, we got Nicolas Dalby taking on Elizeu Zaleski. 24-8 in his career. 2-2-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision loss to Rude Boy Randy Brown, taking on Nicolas Dalby. 23-5 in his career. 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that close loss to Renat Fakhretdinov. I'm gonna get to the breakdown here, but this is a rematch. People love pointing that out. I didn't point it out in the quick pitch video. That was 9 years ago. They fought 9 years ago to a split decision. I think nothing matters. I don't think anything about that first fight matters here. Literally nothing. 9 years is an insane amount of time. What the hell are we laughing at now?
Before the breakdown, I was doing the Usher dance, like, gotta let it burn. And someone said, oh, God, he's convulsing. And someone said, nah, he's stimming, chill, gang.
What's stimming?
You know what stimming is?
No.
That's
White
like when...
from the suburbs.
No, what are you talking about? It's like when an autistic person has to do something. So it's like, no.
I thought it was a hip-hop dance.
No, like that's when an autistic person like starts doing stuff to fucking like control their fucking, they just start stimming out. So me dancing to Usher, he was like, chill, he's just stimming, guys. Just give him, just relax. He's just doing what he needs to do.
I did not know what that was. That's funny. All right. This is a rematch, but I don't think a single thing matters from that at all. So let's break it down as if it's fresh and they've never fought before. We got Nicolas Dalby, the karate-style striker with the weird breathing techniques. And those insane, ridiculously loud, make no sense breathing techniques help him. He's got plenty of cardio.
So loud. It was...
Anybody who's watching, we also slice these videos up and upload them individually. And if you're just watching these individual clips and didn't hear the beginning of this show when Jake was talking about a breakup he's going through, nothing is going to make sense from that point forward with what he's doing tonight. Anyway, Dalby's got the weirdo breathing. The weirdo breathing works for him. That's how he's in such phenomenal shape. I guess he doesn't slow down. He doesn't stop moving. He averages about 1 takedown per fight. He does have a pretty low 27% takedown accuracy, but that's not going to stop him from trying. His striking is just okay. Grappling is just okay. And all in all, he's a pretty well-rounded guy who is going to work hard, but he's not very dangerous. He is coming off that close decision loss to Rinat Fakhretdinov, where he gave up 5 takedowns. And a lot of his losses are very close. And it is because he's pretty tough, and it's because he will hang out. He's taken on Elizeu Zaleski. Solid striker, very real power, good athleticism. He can also be dangerous on the ground. He's got very busy and active striking where he's constantly moving. He's got real power, real athleticism, real cardio, which can make him very dangerous. He is coming off that loss to Randy Brown where he had all the takedowns, but he just couldn't hang in the striking. And I understand.
Oh, rude boy.
Correct.
Come on, rude boy, can you get
Give it up.
Come on, boy, can you hang it? That was her favorite song.
You're the voice cracks. You're great at the voice crack. I get people picking Dalby here. Like, he's a dog. We've seen him be a dog in the last 2 years. He's really, I think he's peaked. It's about as good as he's going to get. But he's 40 years old. And yeah, even though he's 40, he looks great. But he is 40. And he's also chinny. He has been officially knocked down 6 times in the UFC. And there have been other knockdowns, like in the Rinat fight, that wasn't recorded as an official knockdown. Somebody like Elizeu Zaleski, who hits insanely hard, who is durable, who is dangerous, who has multiple paths to victory. I think Zaleski can flat out win this fight. So I'm going to pick him to win this fight for that reason. I do wish the odds would widen. So obviously the odds are crazy here because Elizeu Zaleski opened as a pretty big favorite. That flipped. Now Nicolas Dalby is the favorite. But if you go to bet openly, you can get Elizeu Zaleski as the favorite or Nicolas as at underdog money. So the odds are kind of a mess here. I'm going to pick Zaleski. I think he gets it done, but I don't think I can bet on this fight. Maybe the over 2.5 since they're both durable. What do you think? Jakey boy, what are you eating?
Yeah, nothing would, well, I know what I'm not going to be eating in the near future. Oreo, got to get that cream. Yeah, nothing. Honestly, this fight is easy for me to break down. Nothing would surprise me in this fight. It's a pick 'em, and I agree with it's a pick 'em. I'm going to go with Zaleski because I think he should have the bigger moments. And I think in a close fight, in a decision fight, I think him getting the takedowns or him landing the bigger shots is going to kind of outdo the judging of a guy like Dalby who might have kind of the volume. But I just think the bigger moments going to be on the Zaleski side, and I love my Brazilians. So.
I mean, that is easy. That was pretty quick. All right. $8,000 in DraftKings Fantasy, $8,200 in DraftKings Fantasy. You're just going to have to pick your side. This is a close fight. Dalby could sneak out a decision. Zaleski should sneak out a decision. I mean, every fight Dalby is in for the most part is close or starts one way, ends another. Elizeu Zaleski's not a quitter as well. This should be a really good fight. I believe this is the featured prelim. And it should be because it's an exciting fight. If you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, the round line leans, the artificial intelligence, everything else that we offer, it's freaking $10 for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You're probably considering signing up for UFC 309. You might as well sign up now and get UFC 309 next week included. And if you want...
Just, real quick, just want to address Elizabeth in the chat. How you doing, Elizabeth? How are things? Looks like you just showed up to the stream. Let me just say, you missed a fair share of things going on in my life, and just always nice to have a female presence in my life, and you've been a very great female presence in my life lately, and it's good to see you.
There we go. You know where to reach him at JT_lines if there's anything you would like to say in the privacy of a DM. And if you want couple of bucks. I'll send you a couple of bucks. I was trying to think how I could work privacy in with 50 bucks. It wasn't going to work. Go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use our affiliate links to sign up with any one of our BetSpec partners. BetSpec. Sportsbook partners. Sign up, make a deposit. We send you 50 bucks a thing. They're going to pay me. It's affiliate marketing. Then I'm going to slice off some of that money, and I'm going to give it right back to you. And you can use that money if you're not a premium member to become one. Data Analyzer is the beacon of, pinnacle. The pinnacle.
She broke my heart, Elizabeth.
Of accomplishments.
She broke up with me last night.
When it comes to building out tools. We built out an incredible tool, coded it from the ground up.
I noticed you used to laugh at that, huh?
I told you, that's how I process sadness. I laugh. You should see me at a funeral. They're hilarious. Check out the Data Analyzer. Stackable filters, charts, interactive data, tape index. And it's built out for the future. It's not just this card. It's every card that's basically listed and available. That's included in premium membership. And if you want to send something for mail day, we've already got a couple of letters and some young LA stuff to open up. One of the letters is written to Angelica, and there's something weird in there. I can feel it. I don't know what the hell there's in there. But if you do want to send us something, we will open it, read it, eat it.
I can tell you what it was because that was her idea. And we we put that together, and we thought it was going to be funny. We were going to watch it on the stream together, watch you open it up.
It was mailed from another state, so that's not it.
We just got done traveling for a few weeks.
We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406 in Prosper, Texas, 75078.
This is so damn much.
Well, this slide isn't gonna help.
Oh my god!
Isn't gonna help anything.
Actually, this is the perfect sign, Angelo. And next up, we've got Luana Pinheiro versus Gillian Robertson. Angelo, I got this. I'll take over to the lead on this one. Let me just first off saying congratulations to both these girls for being just wonderful people, beautiful, intelligent women. Obviously, I love the Brazilians in Luana. I respect the relationship she's got on with Nicolas. I love seeing people in relationships happy as can be, and it seems like they got a good one. Gillian, I don't know if she's in a relationship. Angela, do you know if she's in a relationship? I don't know, but
I think so.
I think
she was in a matching Halloween costume that indicates relationship.
Go ahead, Angela. Go ahead. I'm not over it now.
Luana might be good. Okay. We got Luana Pinheiro taking on Gillian Robertson. Luana Pinheiro, 11-3 in her career, 3-2 in her last 5. She is on a 2-fight skid. Taking on Gillian Robertson, is in a relationship, did wear a matching costume for Halloween. 14, maybe it's her gay best friend. I don't know. You might be good. 14-8. She's a Canadian, though. 14-8 in her career. 4-1 in her last 5. She is on a 2-fight win streak. This is a pretty straightforward breakdown. Luana Pinheiro is a good, powerful striker. She does have some offensive takedowns. The BJJ is decent offensively. She averages a couple takedowns per fight. She'll swing wild. She'll run forward. High volume striker. She has knockdowns in 1/3 of her fights. But she was also just submitted by Angela Hill. It blew out the safety parlay, and it created generations of hate. She's taking on Gillian Robertson. Gillian Robertson is not only a grappler, but quite literally the best grappler in this division. She has a little over 2 takedowns per fight. 9.
Hold on.
I'm not done yet. I'll get there.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, Amanda Hebos in this division. So,
well, Gillian Robertson quite literally has the record for most amount of submission wins in this division.
Imagine if Amanda tried to submit everyone. She probably would.
But then she should and break the record. 9 submission wins for Gillian Robertson.
Fucking use that tone about Amanda.
That is the record.
I'm a little on edge.
And hopefully that record continues to expand. Gillian's striking is not very good. And if you could defend her takedowns, then you can just touch her up on the feet. I don't think Luana's going to be able to defend the takedowns. Luana's a very good striker. And she could definitely land heavy, try to make something happen. But Gillian's a gamer. She's tough. She's not a quitter. She will eventually get this to the ground and then take over. Gillian Robertson is going to be the pick. The path to victory is just far too easy, far too clear. Got to pick Gillian here. Maybe she's a future fade with somebody who has better takedown defense. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm obviously a big fan of Luana Pinheiro. I've been on her, not on her, but I've been a fan of hers for a while, and I thought that she could be somebody in this division because she is a very feisty, aggressive type of girl, and sometimes that's just enough to win fights. But as she started fighting a little bit better people, that style started to fade a little bit. You saw her start to fade a little bit because she is so aggressive in the first round of fights. She's not a natural grappler. She's not a natural striker, right? She is kind of that judo tweener type of person, so you can tell she had to learn the striking. She's not a natural striker, and when you're learning your striking, she does overextend. And what's a great thing for somebody that's trying to get the fight to the ground with okay takedown? Somebody that's going to overextend, that Gillian can level change underneath her, grab her to the ground, and on the ground she's going to have an unreal advantage. So whether it happens in the first round, second round, third round, I think eventually she finds it to the ground, and I'm very high on Gillian this week. I said I bet her when it was minus 260. I put on Twitter, I thought that this should be priced minus 350, minus 400. It's at minus 350 right now. I think this could be pushing to minus 450 or 500 by the time the fight starts, honestly. She's got such an advantage.
Yeah, definitely very well. I mean, Angela Hill submitted her, and that's not a slight. Like, I don't mean to say it like, yeah, Angela Hill. Angela Hill is more like, I mean, she's a straight up distance striker who wants to manage that range and pitter patter. So if she's getting submission wins, Gillian Robertson, the all-time submission queen in this weight class, will do the same. So Gillian Robertson, the pick for both of us, $9,200 in DraftKings Fantasy is a lot of money, but it pays well when you get takedowns and finishes. If you do want to check out the picks, the bets, the tools, I think we both have a little bit of action on Gillian. You can check that all out now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, it is only $10 for an entire month, and that month does include UFC 309. That's her just living life. That's her pinned. I think that's like the most popular picture she's ever had.
How would you know it's pinned?
Because I do all the graphics. So I have to, or I do all the posts on Instagram.
Ooh, a little stumble there. Because I do all the and then it just,
that's how I know.
My daughter had my phone. And
that's also how I know that she had a joint costume there, because I have to go to the Instagram to get the handles so I could post all these damn pictures to Instagram and tag him in there. So it's like right there. She was Kim Possible. I do know quite a bit.
Who's that guy, huh? Oh,
I don't know.
God, here they are Oh, God.
Multiple
there it is,
things
September
together.
1st with the heart. She got that with the fucking heart.
God, yeah.
Well, see what Gerald's up to.
Well, retired fireman Gerald Mearshart taking on Rainier de Ritter. Gerald Mearshart, 37-17 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off of that come-from-behind victory over Edmund Shabazi and taking on Rainier de Ritter. Rainier de Ritter is 3-2 in his last 5. He's making his He's making his UFC debut. He is 17-2 though in the entirety of his career. And at one point in time, he was the 2-Division 1 FC champion. And the most ironic part about that is he beat the same guy in 2 divisions to be the double champ, right? The same guy was the 185 and the 205, beat them both. Then he lost both belts to a different guy. So apparently everybody in 1 FC is the 185-pound champion and also the 205-pound champion.
Wasn't that guy, isn't he a 3-division champ? He's a 3-division, the guy that beat him last time.
Yeah, then he went up to heavyweight, I believe.
But he has all 3. I think he had all 3 belts at the same time.
And I mean, it was interesting to watch that whole thing unfold and run through the tape study and see it happen, because when he first took the 205 belt, then the 185, I believe that's the direction it went. And when I watched the tape for the second one, you could just see it in Renier's face. It's like, well, I'm fucked. This guy already beat me. What the hell's going to happen this time? I think he survived the second time instead of getting finished was the difference. Either way, I digress. He is a very good fighter. Despite losing both of those belts, he still had to earn them. 2-division champion, solid grappler, very good takedowns, good submissions. He's ridiculously tall for this division, and he uses that length really, really well on the ground. He will strike as well, but it's not very clean. He definitely thrives on the ground, seems a bit out of sorts if he's on the feet a little too long. That is how he lost both of his belts. He could not get the takedowns, really couldn't make something happen on the ground. He's taken on Gerald Meerschaert. We know this guy through and through at this point. Also a very good grappler. He's live for a submission every moment of the fight. He's not great on his feet, but he does have some surprising power that's hidden inside of there. People do question his chin, but the reality is he's pretty tough and he's not going to quit on himself. He's an incredibly talented grappler. Takedowns kind of suck, though. I'll never get it, but it is what it is. If the fight ends up on the ground, it's usually because somebody took him down and then he ends up finding the finish. And that's kind of what happened in his last fight, except he got his ass kicked, survived, he got the takedown, and then saved the fight with a submission win. I personally think Renier is basically the next version of Gerald Meerschaert. He's not quite a 2.0, maybe a 1.5. I think his takedowns are better. His jiu-jitsu is just as good. The striking is like, it's not better, but he's so much longer that he can do it from farther away. He doesn't have Gerald's power. Gerald does have surprising power. And I think Renier gets it done. This will be an interesting fight, though, because I don't know if he's going to be able to submit Gerald Meerschaert, who is a high-level grappler. So it may just be Renier getting the takedowns because he's by far the better wrestler of the two, and then just some grappling exchanges on the ground. Renier's the pick, pretty confident in that, but you can never count Gerald Meerschaert out of a fight. What do you think, Jakey Boombalats?
I actually believe that this is a great fight for Gerald Meerschaert. You know, he came in, and I know he got knocked out, but he's getting knocked out by a couple, honestly, some killers. And it's good to see him in a fight that is going to tailor to him. He wants to fight to the ground. He's comfortable fighting wherever. He's a grinder in that right, and he's got a guy in front of him who, quite frankly, in that second belt defense, fucking quit. The guy fucking quit. He lost his belt because he was on the ground. The ref told him to fucking get up, and he just looked at the ref and was like, I don't think I'm going to get up, and fucking gave away his belt like that. If there's one thing about Gerald Meerschaert, he might get knocked out. He might get fucking submitted. Gerald Meerschaert's not going to fucking quit. I promise he's not going to fight. You never seen Gerald Meerschaert fucking quit. Why does he win some of these fights? Because he doesn't fucking quit. He finds a way to survive. People get worn down. They start to quit. And then he ends up winning these fights. Or he's tough in these fights. Or at least he makes them close in that right. So if I got to take a grappling match and I can trust, or I feel like I can trust Gerald to survive an early grappling onslaught from this guy, and I've seen this guy fucking quit in the face of adversity, and I've seen Gerald fucking break people before the same way, I'm fucking picking Gerald Meerschaert to win this fight.
That's it. You're on the JJ side. Okay. I get it. You're not worried that he's just going to get taken down and not be able to out-grapple Renier?
Not worried about it.
All right. Well, Jakey Boy and I are split here. I would offer up a bet here, but it's 3-1. I'm not paying.
Somebody said you didn't pay me for something last week.
Did we bet last week? No, you didn't take the bet last week. I wanted even money on something, and you said no.
Somebody said in the live stream that we bet $100 on the Cody Gibson Chad. Didn't you win the plus 3.5 and he got fucking smoked?
You didn't take it is the problem. So you could have gotten paid. You didn't take it. You did not take that bet. That's on you. Because you're like $1 million at 12 to 1.
It's not the only thing that I fucked up this week.
What else did you fuck up?
My life was ruined, Angelo. It's, we can sit here and we can laugh about it, and the chat can laugh about it, but my life is over.
It's not too late, Jakey boy. I'll sit here and wait if you want to run over there, ring the bell, and figure it out. All right. Well, if you guys want to unlock the picks, the bets, the round line leans, the tools, and more, you can do so now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. $10 for an entire month. DraftKings-wise, in this fight, $7,100 for Gerald Meerschaert. Listen, anytime you get Jared at that low of a price, never a bad take because literally he can win at any moment. But I think Gerald's best thing is grappling, and I think Renier is just as good. So I personally don't think it's going to go that way, but Jakey boy squarely on the other side. Check out what the optimizer has to say. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Next up, at UFC Vegas 100, we have the always exciting, always very busy Ricky Tercios taking on
Brazilian.
What?
The Brazilian.
What about the Brazilian? He's just shouting out your pick?
He's not Brazilian.
Bernardo?
He's not Brazilian.
Let me see what Tapology says. That's where these flags come from. Please hold. Please hold. Yep, no, he's not. He's, boy, this was not a good week for me to be bragging about how good these graphics are. Swedish. Fucking nerd. We got Ricky Tercios taking on Bernardo Sopai. Ricky Tercios 12-4 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off a submission loss to Raul Rosas Jr. Taking on Bernardo Sopai, 11-3 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that pretty bad knockout loss in his UFC debut. Ricky Tercios is a guy that you could always count on to be very fun and have a ton of pressure. He's going to throw anything, anywhere, from anywhere, to anywhere. He's going to smile. He's going to go crazy. Every single one of his fights are exactly the same. Very high pressure, tons of forward movement. In half of his fights, he's landed more than 100 significant strikes, and those are all 3-round fights. And one of them includes a loss. He lost the fight, still landed over 100 significant strikes. He doesn't have much to offer, though, outside of just high volume, good pace. He's got a very low 25% takedown accuracy, a sub 50% takedown defense, and he's coming off that second-round submission loss to Raul Rosas. But I thought he actually looked pretty good early, and then ultimately didn't. Taking on Bernardo Sopai, fast-paced guy, high-energy striker. He is powerful. He's got good size. He's got incredible speed. He's constantly moving forward while staying light on his feet. When he sees openings, he will explode in the combinations. He's got solid takedowns, great hips, and we just saw solid takedowns and solid offense in his UFC debut against Vinicius Oliveira. What we also saw in that fight was one of the most vicious knockouts ever. And it was the type of knockout that will permanently alter your chin. At a certain point, your chin is gone and you're not getting it back. We're going to talk about Cody Garbrandt in a couple of fights here.
I hate when things leave and you never get.
She's just getting milk, dude. She'll be back with the milk in a little bit. If Ricky hit harder, I would be worried about it, but he doesn't hit very hard. He's just lots of volume, good pace. And I think he's going to be too reckless, come forward too fast. Bernardo Sopai is going to get the takedowns. He'll take over, and he will win. But I do think he's coming back a little too soon. But again, I don't think Ricky hits hard enough for it to be a major issue here. So Bernardo Sopai is going to be the pick. I wish I had the opening odds instead of the current odds, but it is what it is. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, Bernardo Sopai, the Lion King, was my lock of the week versus Vinicius, and people clown on that because of how it ended, but that started off so good. I mean, that started off so well. That was one of those lock of the weeks that he was winning until he wasn't. And honestly, the kid showed a lot of toughness because he was down and out, and he was just trying to do anything he could just to survive in that fight, and just ended up kind of getting hit, and then landed that knee. He's going to be the better fighter here. He should be able to control this fight, maybe even find a finish. But I'll be honest, Ricky is one of those dudes that is, he finds ways to make fights difficult for people. Even in that Raul fight, Raul's in some fucking trouble. I mean, he hit a sweep, got Raul's back, and if Raul had a normal-ass fucking chin, he's probably getting choked out in that situation. And Ricky Tercios is being talked about a little bit differently than he is right now, being an almost 3-1 dog to the guy Bernardo Sopai, who showed that he can slow down. I mean, if you make him work, Vinicius made him work. He didn't get Vinicius out of there, and he slowed down and was able to take over. If there was anybody that can be weird in a fight and just survive the early onslaught and start doing some weird shit late, it probably is a guy like Ricky Tercios. So I got to go Bernardo Sopai here because he should be the better fighter, and I know that he can get the takedowns early and maybe find a finish, but something feels a little bit weird about this fight for sure.
Yeah, I have no money on it whatsoever. I think it's probably a blessing that the odds are as wide as they are.
It's 5 in the morning, now I'm up having phone sex with you, so horny.
Is that a pretty Ricky song?
So horny, now I'm on a hotline.
All right. Well, I think the odds being as wide as they are is a bit of a blessing because there's just not a lot of value here, so I'm going to leave it on the table, not touch it, and that's probably what should happen here. Dude was just really badly knocked out earlier this year.
I wish somebody knocked me out.
Okay. Let's run that fight back. We'll live stream it. But, like, not this energy.
This
to get back,
is-
yeah, be an asshole. Be that guy. And then...
No, this is right now, Angelo. You want to talk about the situations after what I've went through in the last 24 hours? You know how people say, like,
I just black out, bro.
I'm not a trained fighter. I don't know what I'm doing. But the second I fucking see red, I'll go crazy. Angelo, I will rip your fucking head off right now.
I'm just...
Okay? I will rip you from fucking toe to nose, cut you open, and I would sleep inside your fucking carcass the next month.
What's that Justin Gagey quote? If one man can hold you down, two can RAPE you. So that's just... You're coming in there, holding me down, seeing red, going crazy. Why are you making that face?
I don't know what quote that you just said was. I've never heard that in my life.
Have you really never heard that?
Are you sure, Angelo? It's not like some fake quote that you saw.
Justin Gagey said, it's a video clip of Justin Gagey saying, if one man can hold you down, two can, I'm not going to say the word because YouTube doesn't like it, RAPE you.
We'll be right back.
All right. Anyway, become a premium member. It's $10. Hey, and if you're a premium member, you don't have to sit through this. You just get the picks and bets right there on the website, on your phone. Very convenient, very easy. For an entire month, $10. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. Next up, at UFC Vegas 100, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Karolina Kowalkiewicz taking on
my
Denise
passion for love is increasing. I do believe that there is a path for me. I do believe that there is somebody out there for me. And you guys know my girl Denise Gomes could be that one. She could be that one. That's my fucking girl. I believe in love now again, Angelo. Whoa,
that neck
I'm feeling
tattoo.
good now.
I told you, hey, what'd I say? Inside of 3 days.
I'm feeling good
I
now.
said, hey, we capped it earlier. You said how long? I said inside of 3 days. Here you go. He's back. He found it. He found love with a neck tattoo.
Como vai, tudo bem? Muito bom.
Karolina Kowalkiewicz, 16-8 in her career, 4-1 in her last 5. She is coming off that streak-ending loss to Eisman Lucindo, taking on Denise Gomes, 9-3 in her career, 3-2 in her last 5. She's coming off that decision win over Eduarda Moura. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, been around for a while. Fought for a title I'm going to say a few years. It's been more than a few years, but she fought for a title. At one point in time, one of the best women on the planet. Then she had a 4-fight losing skid. Completely flipped it around, a 4-fight winning streak. She made some adjustments, went to American Top Team, started grappling a little more. And that it all just come to an end in her last fight. She has been around for a while, fought some of the best women on planet Earth. She can strike, she can grapple, she can do all the things, but she is finally starting to look a little old and a little slow. And that's just the reality of this sport. She's been here for a while, and eventually she was going to slow down, and we saw that in her last fight. She's taking on Denise Gomes. Denise Gomes is a striker who can also grapple. She can be hittable, but she's incredibly tough. She's never out of a fight. She's going to continue to move forward, bite down, and bomb away. It takes her a few minutes to get going, but once she is dialed in, she picks up the pace and has no problem taking one to give one. She works in kicks well. She can be dangerous on the ground. She's coming off that win over Eduarda Moura, where she gave up 5 takedowns but dominated striking. I got to go with Denise Gomes here. I think the slowness we saw out of Karolina Kowalkiewicz in her last fight is just going to be a problem here as well. Denise can exploit the slower movements, the slower feet. Denise's fast. She's powerful. She is willing to wrestle if she needs to. Denise's going to win. The only way Karolina's really going to have some success is if Karolina fights this fight the same way she fought Angela Hill, where she did a lot of distance striking and then would shoot a takedown. But Denise Gomes is going to be the pick. 5-1 favorite seems honestly kind of crazy to me. She's not like Natalia Silva. What do you think?
Natalia.
What do you think, Jake?
Hold on a second. What's Natalia been up to these days? What's she up to? You talk about a strong, powerful woman, you nasty girl. What you been doing, Natalia? Let me see what Natalia's been doing. Whoa! A little power stance, Natalia. Like that power stance.
There you go.
Let me just put a like on all these real quick.
JT Lyons liked your photo from 2019.
I like Denise Gomes here. She should be the better fighter. Not going to bet her at these odds because, Carolina has shown that she can be a tough son of a bitch inside the octagon. And who knows what happens later in the fight. But Denise should have the tools to get it done. Quick, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
You think she finishes her?
Didn't say that. So
you
again,
said
there's been
you
a lot.
said I think
there's been a lot
gets
of
it done.
there's been a lot of people this week, particularly in the last 24 hours, that have put a lot of words in my mouth, saying stuff that I didn't say, saying stuff that I didn't want to do or what I didn't want to do. I didn't say she was gonna put her inside the distance. I said
you did say it though. You said Denise Gomes is going to win quick and easy.
No, I said the breakdown was quick, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Oh, I thought that was the Denise pick.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
I just said Carolina's durable and could make this weird.
That's why I thought when you said Denise is going to win quick and easy. I wonder where it all went south. I wonder where it all went south.
This is called the anger portion of the grieving process. First it was denial, then it was sadness, and now it's fucking. Now we're at the anger.
We got to speed this up to acceptance.
Yeah, Big Ange, stop interrupting him. Thank you.
Dude, Hunter's a fucking turd, dude. He's a giant troll. Only says negative shit. That's his whole YouTube comment career is negative bullshit.
Love you, Hunter.
Yeah. So, $9,400 in DraftKings Fantasy? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. That's my daughter's cheer for her football team, by the way. So I'm going to fade
Stand up and do it.
I don't know the moves. It's just, do you want to beat the Buffaloes? The Buffaloes?
Stand back and do it.
Beat the
You've been at all the
no,
practices, Angelo.
I don't think so.
Move the chair back and do the fuck. That's all I want, Angelo. I've had such a rough 24 hours, and all I want is to just laugh, a genuine laugh, and that would make me so happy if you just pushed your chair back and did the cheer.
Yeah, I don't know the moves.
Please, Angelo.
What I love saying in the house, though, is like,
oh, Billy. Oh, Billy.
Okay. If you say hands on hips, she's got to go smiles on lips. Okay, we're gonna move on here. If you want to put Jacob out of his misery, become a premium member. It's only $10 for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. You'll unlock everything you could ever want or need heading into a fight week. Next up at UFC Vegas 100, we got the co-main event of the evening. We got Cody Garbrandt taking on Miles Johns. Cody Garbrandt, former world champion, 14-6 in his career. He is 2-3 in his last 5, coming off that submission loss to Davison Figueiredo at UFC 300. Taking on Miles Johns, 15-2 in his career, 3-1-1 in his last 5, but really 4-1 on a 4-fight win streak. There was a win in there that was overturned for some pissing. Cody Garbrandt, former champion of the world, and he won that belt with one of the greatest championship performances we've ever seen. But that was like 9 years ago. That was a while. And it's a shame because Cody Garbrandt could have been the next big thing. He had very good wrestling. He had incredible movement. He's got good, fast, clean hands with some power. The problem is his next 2 fights after winning the belt, he had his opponent rocked, TJ Dillashaw. TJ was almost knocked out. He came charging forward like a maniac. Charging forward like a maniac, TJ Dillashaw knocked him out cold and his chin never recovered. It just never recovered. Came back too quick. It happened again. And ever since then, you just don't know what you're going to get with a Cody Garbrandt fight because he always has all the talent. Skill for skill, he's better than most. But if he gets hit real hard, I don't know if he'll still be there. We also don't necessarily know the game plan because we don't know where his head is at. But Cody Garbrandt, a victim of his own aggression. He's taking on Miles Johns. Miles Johns, strong wrestler. He's got heavy hands, good explosive speed. He seems to have a love-hate relationship with wrestling. Started his career as purely a wrestler. And then he knocked a couple of people out, then just started knocking people out. Stopped wrestling entirely. Then more recently, he got back to his roots, started mixing things up, shooting takedowns again. In his last fight, he did just beat Douglas Silva de Andrade, but he did that with striking, but Douglas is built like a bowling ball. Taking him down is not an easy thing to do. Cody Garbrandt is young. He's only 33 years old. I'm surprised every time I break him down. When I did the graphic, I was like, I thought he was 38. So he, technically speaking, right now could be like in the prime of his career, but it feels like he's past his prime, and he has been for a little while now. Without seeing his age, I mentioned, I would have assumed he was closing in on 40. He also had us all thinking he was a very good, very high-level wrestler. And I thought he was, and we had seen glimpses of the good wrestling in the past. But then Divas and Figueiredo just pushed him around, took him down, controlled him on the ground, ultimately submitted him. And because of that, I got to go Miles Johns. We got a Cody Garbrandt whose chin isn't the best. That's not his fault. He can't control that. A Cody Garbrandt who was just taken down by a 135-pounder. Taking on Miles Johns. Or 125-pounder, sorry. Taking on Miles Johns, who is an actual wrestler, who has big, heavy hands. I'm going to pick Miles John here. I got a little bet on Miles at plus 135. The only thing, sorry, minus 135. Plus would have been nice. Minus 135. The only thing that would concern me here is Miles is just sitting on right hands, spamming and bombing, and they're not connecting, and then Cody is the better fighter. But I'm going with Miles. What do you think, Jakey boy?
So your only concern about Miles Johns is that he fights like Miles Johns fights.
Dude, 2 fights ago he was working it. He was working it.
Which is a very interesting thing to say, because if you watch Miles Johns, he had cleaned it up at some points, right? But I guarantee, just like everyone else, Miles Johns has seen the highlights. He's seen Cody Garbrandt get knocked out. He wants to be a guy that also knocks out Cody Garbrandt. I know he's a wrestler, and he will mix in takedowns, and he has good takedowns, and he can probably take down Cody Garbrandt. I don't think, multiple times successfully, but maybe a 1 or 2 times. He's not going to have the control of a guy like Davison, right? Davison's a guy that gets on you and you're not really going to go anywhere. Miles Johns is a wrestler. I sat there front row at the Apex, and I had to fucking do everything I could to will this guy to win against Cody fucking Gibson. Now, Cody Gibson looked fucking fantastic just 1 week ago during his fight, but Miles Johns was tired. Miles Johns was gassed, and he dogged that shit out, but that was all me in that fight. Come on, Miles. Come on. He thinks there's a wrestler, Miles. Wrestler, Miles. I was screaming my fucking head off for Miles Johns to win that fight. He is a guy that is powerful early, starts to slow down late. And if he starts slowing down with the hand speed and takedown defense of Cody Garbrandt, he's in big fucking trouble. And if you watch Cody Garbrandt, he's getting caught by guys that are either really, really fast or throwing in nice combinations, right? When people extend combinations, they can catch Cody, like a fucking TJ Dillashaw, like a Munoz, like a Kai Kara France, who just beat him with speed. Miles Johns isn't that type of striker. He is a one-and-done, throw the heavy shit. A guy like Cody Garbrandt can see that shit coming a mile away. I believe Cody Garbrandt's going to be the better striker, and if he can just avoid the power, which I think he can see the telegraph power coming, I think he can take this fight over even late in the second, third rounds. I think this fight looks like the Trevin Giles fight, where Cody just staying safe. Obviously, the smaller Apex cage is going to be a little bit harder, but Miles Johns is a guy that will just kind of stalk you, right? I mean, he's not going to be like crazy pressure, and Cody's footwork, I think it's going to be a lot of that, like the Trevin Jones fight, and then as the fight goes on and Miles starts getting a little bit slower and sloppier, you're going to see those jabs, you're going to see that stuff start adding up for Cody, and he just got to stay safe, see the big shots coming, and I think he's an opportunity to dominate this fight.
I mean, Cody's the better fighter for sure.
And when we saw him at 303, I looked that motherfucker in the eye. I looked down at him in the eye, and I said, look, I swear, I looked him right in the eye, and I said, hey, keep working, man. And he looked at me, and he said, I will, I promise. And I could sense in that, and it sounds stupid, but I could sense the way he said that this dude isn't fucking done. This guy works his ass off. This guy wants to be back to where he was. I don't know if he's going to get to that level, but if he is a fraction of what he was at one point, which you've seen flashes here and there still, he's beating a guy like Miles Johns.
He's the better fighter. I mean, he's one of the best. I can't say of all time because he just had the belt, the one, you know what I mean? Like,
that was literally one of the best performances of all
that
time.
Performance was might literally be the best performance at that weight class of all time. That was prime Dominic Cruz. The Dominic Cruz that beat Demetrius Johnson,
might have been one of
no
the best
big deal.
performances of all time, not just the
yeah.
fucking bantamweight.
No, he looked unbelievable in that fight. And he looked unbelievable in his next fight until he started running forward like a madman because he almost had TJ Dillashaw knocked out. And then he got slapped. Literally, he doesn't have a chin today because of those TJ Dillashaw fights because he got too reckless, too excited, and the chin never recovered. Basically what I was saying about what I'm worried about with Bernardo Sopai. He's just not fighting a guy that hits that hard. So this, hey, listen, if Cody wins, I'm not going to be surprised. I just feel like those days are behind us. But this should be an interesting fight to watch. This is a good co-main event. This is a very well-matched co-main event for the UFC.
And they moved this because this originally was on the prelims.
Was it really?
Yeah, and then everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? And they switched it up and made it the co-main.
Prelim is crazy. Yeah, this should not be on the prelims. $7,900 in DraftKings Fantasy, $8,300 in DraftKings Fantasy. Yeah, I mean, the winner probably scores really, really well here. But it could be a bit of a staring contest, right? If Cody's afraid to completely close that distance because Miles like, whack, throwing hard. But I do think if you're on the right side of this, you're going to make some very real money. This is a very well-priced fight. And you can unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, the round line leans, and everything else right now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member.
I wouldn't be surprised if Cody just counter wrestles him too. He knows how to wrestle, and Miles can't be.
Well, why didn't he counter wrestle Figgy? That drove me nuts because I loved Cody in that fight.
Because Figgy's like a fucking jiu-jitsu fucking ace. I wouldn't wrestle fucking.
Well, no, why didn't he counter wrestle? I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying counter wrestle. I'm saying, well, that guy, once he gets on top of you, you're in big trouble, and that's what happened. And honestly, what Cody.
When you're saying counter wrestle, you don't mean defense.
No, I'm saying he should counter. He should go. He should attack.
Oh, I thought you meant like defense.
And I think I predicted that Cody Garbrandt would be too active to try to get back to his feet because of his wrestling brace. Instead of staying safe, he made mistakes trying to get back to his feet.
Yeah. $1.99 from Patrick Watson coming to Tampa with Jacob Angelo. Will have a beer for you. I am not. My wife, I thought I was. I was like 90%. I was like, Tiff, Jacob's going to Tampa. We should go. And she's like, yeah, we can do that. And we were heading down the path of looking at flights and figuring out we have family in Fort Myers. Where do we fly? And then all of a sudden we actually pulled up the family calendar. We're like, oh shit, she bought 10 tickets to this freaking Christmas spectacular thing. And it sounds dumb. Do you remember it went viral last year, Jacob? That church thing where they're swinging from the rafters and they have animals walking through? It went viral. It was like Texas mega church Christmas show. It's that. It's literally, it sells out in 5 minutes. She was on the website hitting refresh like this, like trying to get Taylor Swift tickets. So I will not be going. I am trying to go to, I texted it to Jakey yesterday. Whatever the first pay-per-view is in 2025. This way, that'll give me a good 6 months. We'll go the first one in January. We'll do International Fight Week. And then just every 6 months.
I was supposed to go on a cruise with her to start the year.
I mean, I like cruises. What's the buffet situation? I get my money's worth on a cruise. I love cruises. Next up, at UFC Vegas 100, we have the main event of the evening. We have Neil Magny taking on Carlos Prates. Neil Magny, 29-12 in his career. 2-3 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses. Taking on Carlos Prates, 20-6 in his career. 5-0 in his last 5 on a 10-fight win streak. And this is the first main event for Carlos Prates. And we're going to find out if the UFC is just pushing him too fast or if he has earned this slot. Because he's taking on a very tried and true veteran in Neil Magny. Incredibly well-rounded guy. Seems to be the UFC's go-to guy if they're trying to give an old veteran a good fight or figure out how good a prospect is. In this case, very clearly, they're trying to figure out how good of a prospect Carlos Prates is. He's got solid grappling. He's got great cage control, good, busy forward striking. He averages about 2 takedowns per fight. He's 22-11 in the UFC. But if you run through that fight history, it's a who's who of the division. He is coming off that KO loss to Michael Morales, where he had a wrestle-heavy game plan, but ultimately got sniped. Taking on Carlos Prates, very dangerous striker, big power, good range control, pretty light in his feet. He manages to throw kicks to any part of your body whenever he wants to. He'll throw head kicks as well at the drop of a dime. He can defend most takedowns that come his way. His power and his accuracy are absolutely insane. He's coming off that knockout win over Jing Lang, where everybody's like, you can't knock out Jing Lang. Jing Lang can't be knocked out. And Carlos Prates made it look easy, and he had him knocked out about 3 times in that fight. He's on an incredible 9-fight knockout win streak. This probably makes it 10. Neil Magny's got some miles on him, and he certainly has miles more experience in an octagon. If he could somehow wrestle heavy without getting hit, he could definitely win. If he could hold Prates against the cage, which is what Neil's best skill set is, he could have some success. But you got to get through those strikes. You got to get to him to do that. I don't see it happening. Obviously, the betting line reflects that. He just got knocked out by Michael Morales. And if Michael Morales is knocking you out, a guy that's a pretty decision-heavy guy, Carlos Prates is absolutely doing it. Carlos is the pick. Obviously, minus 700. Most people feel that way as well, but pretty confident there. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, take it from me because I don't want to say a Carlos Prates hater, but I was a Carlos Prates non-believer. I picked Charlie Radtke as my lock of the week versus him because we already talked about it before, but I saw Trevin had some success with the hands and then eventually got caught. I thought Charlie would be able to have the same success with the hands and be a little bit more durable. And then I saw how he handled that situation. And then against Jing Lang, it was like the comparison I make, because I rewatched that fight today, and it's not the same level of competition, obviously, and I'm not comparing it, but how clean the performance was, how unbelievably comfortable, the way he was seeing everything that was coming his way, the vision to be able to just kind of step back and throw those big shots, and the way he was just almost toying with Zhang Lang in that fight, it was like Conor against Eddie Alvarez, where it looked like Eddie Alvarez looked like he had never even fucking fought before. And I understand that Eddie was like a former champion, Jing Lang wasn't, and Conor won the belt and stuff like that. I'm just saying, like, the performance was, Jing Lang, like you said, had never been knocked out. He's a tough guy. He's always in your face. He's always making a fight. Whether he's getting taken, I know the Kamzat wasn't a fight, but he's always turning everything into a brawl. And he couldn't touch this dude, Carlos. And he was stepping off and rolling and missing 3 or 4 shots and then stepping off the angle and landing a right hand. It was absolutely impressive. It was beautiful. If he brings in that same performance, he should smoke a guy like Neil Magny. We broke him down all the time. Just stay out of the fucking clinch, and you're going to win. There was a situation in that second round where Zhang Lang did grab Prates, put him against the fence. Prates went through the motions. It looked like, oh my God, is he going to stay here or not? Looked at his corner, gave him a little nod, wasted about 10, 15, 20 seconds, caught his breath a little bit, underhook, boom, circled back. It's probably not going to be that easy to Neil Magny, but it's still good to see that he got his win, assessed the situation, knew what he could do, circled off, got back to space, and immediately started attacking as well. I think that this fight is going to look like what the Philip Rowe fight should have looked like. Right? Philip Rowe has that same length, not the same type of striking, but is a long rangey striker. And I said, just back Neil Magny up and just start fucking boxing him against the fence, and you're going to win the fight. He was boxing him, and then he went to clinch. He was boxing him, then he went to clinch. If Carlos just stays at range and boxes him, his hands and his striking is absolutely unbelievable. Big fan of that Fighting Nerds team for sure, and I think he's got all the tools to get this done.
Yeah, 100%. And Prates won't clinch. Neil Magny's literally best skill set is clinching. If you're like, what's he great at?
And he's
clinching.
a Muay Thai guy, so you might clinch and strike or throw an elbow. But
no, being cage,
that Muay Thai guy, he knows how to get the arms involved and circle out and take advantage of the situations, or even land damage because a lot of people will just let Neil Magny just kind of hug him and hold on to him. Being that Muay Thai guy, he can land damage in that clinch situation as well.
Yeah, when I say clinch, I guess I'm talking cage control, like not plumb clinch, just clinch, right. Like hold against the cage, keep him there. Carlos won't go there. That's not a safety net for him. He's going to be staying away, using the distance. So pretty confident in Carlos here. I did build a nice little 3-leg parlay with him in there.
Full unit too. That was
a full unit on it.
Like,
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, this week's interesting, and I might be feeling myself. Listen, what goes up?
I don't like this week for betting. I kind of have my pots in like three people. Usually I'm 5, 6, 7 that I feel with odds. Obviously the units is kind of spread out between whatever. But this week I see like 4 people. I'm like, okay. And then that's about it. Because, I try to bet Prates, but he's almost outpriced at this point. I think even inside the distance, -3 or -400, I'll just fucking let it be. It's like, but we find our spots.
Yeah, and like, listen, I've won money 9 of the last 10 cards. Phenomenal ROI over that 10-card span. On the year, doing incredibly well as well. You're going to lose some. I don't know if it's going to be this event. I actually didn't want to say it out loud, but I felt last week was like, it's going to be a tough card. And it wasn't.
And what did I say?
You texted. You're like, today's gonna be a great day. We're
I
all
said
gonna
it's
make
going
a
to
ton
be
of
one of
money.
the. I said it's going to be one of the best weeks of the year, and it fucking
For you, it was,
nearly
yeah.
was. Well, it wasn't, but it almost fucking nearly was.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this card. I've got my spots. I think I'm going to be done with the bets I've got going. Maybe we'll see when the rest of the props drop. We'll see what happens. Safety parlay. I might not even do one. We'll see what happens.
The shit out of that. We played it on the stream as well. The Jack Shore under 2 takedowns.
2 takedowns. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I mean, luckily it got refunded though because he got 2 takedowns pretty fucking quick. It's like, oh shit. Like, okay, all right. Well, there goes that bet. But luckily you stayed at 2 and that got refunded. If you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the tool. Oh, you know how I sniped that? Somebody in the Discord DM me. I don't know if he wants me to say his name, but he talks to Chris Riley all the time, and they would share.
Honestly,
like
I thought it hit. I thought he only got 1.
He got 2. It was refunded. He got 2. He got 2, but it really was 1 because he was like connected, came up, brought him back down. But either way, I'll take it. Anyway,
how did they score the second round?
WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It's freaking $10. This is what we did last week. UFC Edmonton was a sketchy card. If you don't believe, if you guys only watch us and you don't exist in other universes in the MMA space, you might think this shit's easy because we're doing well and we make it look easy sometimes. It's not. Everybody else is taking an absolute bath every single week. It is crazy. They're all coming up with wild excuses. Oh, this, that, got screwed again. Oh, but I made money if you count the last 275 years.
Oh, what a tough year this has been with the judging and the decision, and where you can't catch a break and you can fucking complain about it, or you could just do better research and you could just get better fucking bets. You know, this isn't a situation where we're trying to hit a fucking plus 5,000 parlay so we could say we've been up for the last 10 weeks. A lot of people will just chase these big dogs. They're up monster on one single week, and then they'll be like, oh, I'm still up 40 units for the year because they were up 50 units one week and they lost fucking 100 and whatever it is. So it's consistency.
It's consistency, and it's like normal consistency. Look at the units. I bet 3.5 units last week. If you look at every week, I'm like 3, 5, 2, 3, 3.5, like normal. You bet a little more than I do, but also normal. You know, a lot of the games that those idiots play, they'll put like 12 units on like basically a guarantee. Like they'll put 12 units on Prates, and then it'll hit, and they'll be like, see? It's like, dude, you think that this is not reasonable. Either way, enough ranting and raving about the rest of them. Let's talk about us. We're crushing. And if you want to unlock everything that we do, you don't even need the bets. The tools like the data analyzer, interactive charts, data, stackable filters, a tape index. And this is built out for all the events in the future as well.
My favorite is when people just keep complaining about all the decisions and stuff like they've never had a decision go their way in their life. Like one of the reasons why you're up so big last year is probably because of decision going your way. And then you were like, laugh out loud, like, you knew you got away with it, and then everything fucking evens out.
Dude, Renat was a gift. Like Renat winning that was a gift. He should not have won that decision. It was a gift, and I appreciate that gift. And we've gotten fucked plenty of times.
My two worst weeks this year on split decisions. My two worst weeks this year are because of 4 split decision losses. And guess what I did? Fucking just moved on, kept winning the next 3 or 4 weeks, and then I got the fucking CD decision coming my way this last week. It all evens out.
Yeah. I completely agree with you.
You can bitch and moan, or you can fucking just be a man about it.
Oh, the people complaining about the Jasmine thing was funny too, because obviously I lost that bet. I needed another 3 seconds there, but that was genuine. That wasn't like sometimes they'll when the referee stops the fight and the actual clock don't align. No, that was genuine. That ref stopped that fight like literally a couple seconds before the 2.5. It's like, fuck. So that is what it is. It does all work itself out. You can use the tools. You can use the copy-paste bets. We have a prop hunter, curated set of data to help you find prop bets. We have a DraftKings optimizer preloaded with the best DraftKings ownership projections. We got everything you want or need, including a dude from Brazil. Nope, not Brazil. New Zealand. A dude from New Zealand who's picking fights not just at the UFC level, but the regional level as well, and an artificial intelligence. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's $10. Includes everything. One beautiful package. We crossed the 4,000 premium member mark this past weekend. I think we crossed it. It was Sunday morning. I was talking to Josh, the web guy, who said we crossed. So For the 4,076 of you that are active right now as premium members, thank you so much. I'm glad we can give you something that you appreciate. And if you're not a premium member, it's $10 fucking. Give it a try. Any last words for the peeps? Jakey Boom Balats.
Make sure you like the video if you haven't already. Every like is going to help us get more exposure to the channel. The more exposure to the channel is more likely for people to sign up for premium. The more premium members we get, the more likelihood I'm going to end up in Brazil. And once I get to Brazil, I can finally be happy, you know. So I would just appreciate the like the stream, and don't forget to go and vote tomorrow.
There you go.
Right? You want to tell me who to vote for?
No, sure don't. Get your bonus. We'll see you guys later this week for the rest of the stuff.